Welcome people of the World Wide Web and welcome to the latest video. So what do we have for you today? As the video would say, this is my top 8 films I'm looking for 2023. You may be asking, 8 movies? So I thought that's a bit of a strange number. And honestly, I struggled to find movies that I was looking forward to. Now there have been a lot out, most of them have some sort of trailer or one or two of them are not, but we will get to that. These are what personally I'm looking forward to. I may have a little comment of why I left stuff out, or people may be complaining. But yeah, if there is something you feel that it is worth watching that I haven't mentioned, please do mention it in the comments below. Most of the films I don't mention that are probably quite big, I will watch anyway. But you know, I'll be interested to let your views and opinions. They're always wanted. So we shall start with number 8. So 8 is a movie that is rumoured to be out in 2023. There's no trailer, I cannot find a lot of it, but it's Gremlins 3. Now, as an 80s child, Gizmo, I loved it. The fact that a lot of this is being kept so secret, but from what I can see, there is plans to release it next year. Obviously, the original actor has done a trailer, I think, a little while ago with Gizmo and stuff like that. So they have plenty of time to bring them back. I think they've done it with a few other films like A Christmas Story and stuff. The actors have recently come back and the movie's kind of popped out from nowhere. So I'm quite looking forward to that. Obviously, there's nothing to speculate on. I don't know how they're going to play the story. Maybe it might be the main character's son or daughter coming across Gizmo again. Hopefully it is still Gizmo at some point. Or I don't know, maybe Gizmo's kids. We don't really know much about the Mogwai reproductive system or anything like that. So, but I'm interested to see what they get up to. I'm interested to see how they put a new spin on it. And like quite a lot of our films, hopefully it's a passion project for someone. As long as they care about the franchise and take their time, and they're doing this movie because they want to, and not just to cash out on money, I will be happy. So that's my number 8. So next up is number 7. So it's a bit of a strange note out there, but it's called Cocaine Bear. Now, let me just be clarified. I'm not condoning the use of cocaine or drugs or anything on this channel, so we'll have that. But yeah, so this was a movie I randomly saw and supposedly is loosely based on true events that a drug plane, obviously is trying to get rid of their drugs, goes down in some sort of forest, looks like America aspect, and unfortunately a local bear gets hold of one of the cocaine packages, eats it, and then goes on a crazy killing spree. It very much looks like a hack and slash cheap one. It's a CG bear and looks very blatantly like a CG bear. But it actually, and there's a few funny bits in the trailer, and I saw this and I quite like the look of it. Again, as you may see from my movies, I quite like the movies that are a little bit out there and a little bit different. We've got a lot of period, and you'll notice that there are obviously a lot of remakes, a lot of sequels, a lot of prequels, a lot of... And I must admit, personally, when you do watch a lot of movies, you get a bit sick of this stuff. So you'll notice in this list, I tailor away a little bit from it. But yeah, so Cocaine Bear, interesting to see. I say something different, something fun, but I look forward to it. So yeah, so that's at my number 7 left. So moving on to number 6. So 6 is the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So this is the Seth Rogen one. I think there is 2 possibly live action or animated ones coming. This one is... I think maybe DreamWorks is working, maybe it's Netflix. It's supposedly an animated movie, a new interpretation of the Turtles. I always like the Turtles, I always like their interpretations. Some have been hit and miss, but I'll still watch it. It gives me a bit of sense of nostalgia. I liked the like action movies. I know a lot of people didn't, but it's your own. So yeah. So Mutant Mayhem. So again, not much has been given about this story, and again, I'm trying to keep away from it. I'll watch the first trailer if I can, and then stay away from anything just to not spoilers and stuff like that. And just yeah, I think it'll be fun. It's Seth Rogen. It's I quite like Sausage Party and stuff he's done animated wise. So I'm quite interested to see how well this goes. But anyway, that's number 6. So moving on to number 5. Now this movie technically is out I think in America and the Sundance, but hasn't made its way over to the UK yet. So this is The Whale, Brendan Fraser, about obviously a school teacher who, for whatever reason, is a very recluse and try and connect with his daughter and stuff. And the buzz aside, I do love Brendan Fraser. I have been, I have enjoyed him, and it is a shame, obviously, the issues that he had in acting, and he had to went away for a period of time. But I'm glad he's having like a renaissance. He's coming back and he's doing stuff. A bit gutted about the Batgirl one. It would have been nice to see him as Firefly in that, but it is what it is. To say, I've seen a lot of his original movies. You know, he didn't always make brilliant ones, but classic ones like Airheads and the original like Two Mummies. California Man or Encino Man as he's known in America and stuff like that. They're really good, and obviously this is quite a passionate one of his. Obviously I know it had a big standing ovation, I think, at Sundance and stuff like this, but I just, before I'd even seen the trailer, quite liked it, and I've been looking up trailers to try to create this list. So I did watch the trailer for that, and it does look really good, and I do look very much forward to seeing that. So that's my number 5. So number 4 is another animated film. Do like my animated films, and it's that character Super Mario. So Super Mario in a movie. I've seen the first trailer for it because you can't get away from that from the cinema, and I do actually love it. I think Jack Black's Bowser, which I think is a very suiting character. Chris Pratt. I know he's got a lot of stick about his voice, of how he's doing Mario and stuff, but looking at it, watching it, it does feel like a computer-generated Mario world. They've gone a little bit different than the Sonic did, and to be honest, I don't think in this you need to listen to the fans. It's made by like Illumination, so the Minions and stuff, and I think it has a little bit of that feel. And as long as it has a bit of care, a bit of laughter, and a bit enjoyable from like the earlier Despicable Me Minions movies, I think this will be quite a good movie. I think Mario is very much a character that you can translate to the animated 3D version, because he's kind of like coming out of the game. Obviously, I didn't mind the movie from the 90s, but I think trying to do another live action one after that dumpster fire of a lot of people is probably a really bad idea. So I think this was the best way forward. Obviously, CG's come a long way. So so I really look forward to that. So that is number 4. Sorry, I keep looking at my list. It's not really good. It's like, anyway. So number 3. So Bayversus, switch off now. Obviously, this is the Transformers, whatever they class it, Rise of the Beasts. Now, I'm a massive fan of Beast Wars. I was a fan of G1, G2. I've seen a lot of the other ones. I grew up being a teenager in the 90s in Beast Wars. It's what I did watch. I did always collect the VHS. I don't have any of them now, unfortunately, but I have a complete section of the toys, except Tigatron has missing bits on his wings, but apart from that, the good guys and the bad guys, I have a complete range of classic toys, minus one, Tigatron. But by the by, really look forward to this. I don't know, I assume it's a follow-on from Bumblebee. I'd say I've tried to stay away from a lot, so I don't really know what's going on. But really, you see Rhinox, you see Cheetor, Rat Attack, you haven't seen as yet, but Air Razor's in there. So most of the original Maximals are in there. Predacons, not so much, and the bad guy, not quite sure where it's coming from. I really do hope that even though Optimus Prime is a figurehead, we let the beasts have a bit more, being in the front of it. Let Optimus sit in the background a little bit, kind of like the Bumblebee movie did. Obviously, he was only in a little bits, but let's give a few other characters, and even the robots. I know they've got humans in it. It looks like Mirage. I'm assuming it's Mirage because he multiplies himself on the roadway, and RC are in it. It's fair, but I feel they bring the humans in to be part of the story, but I feel the story is much about the robots that you could get through because they have personalities, because they have facial features. They kind of take the place of humans, so to speak, in conveying stuff, and I think it'd be good because Transformers, can survive on their own. They only ever had a few humans in the original animated series, and even in the cartoons, I think nowadays they only have the odd one or two, whereas we like to put it more focus on humans. But by the by, we shall see that. So number 2. So this is Dune Part 2. So absolutely loved the first version. I must admit, and this is something I know that got a bit of mixed reviews from it. The bloke doing it was given the time to do the second one, which I hope he does it well. I have watched the original. Now, having watched the original, it's very heavy going, a very lot of stuff to learn. Not as much explanation as there could be because it's kind of narrated as it goes along, and you have to learn about all these different households and spice and stuff like this, and it can get very confusing. I think it was 3 hour version. I watched maybe 3.5 hour version, but I didn't mind it. But I got a gist of what was going on. Now, when I went into the first film, I didn't know it was a two-parter. I thought it was one. And as it went on, I kind of gauged, like, hang on, there's a lot still to be left. And obviously it was good that they kind of didn't focus on it's Dune part one. It was just Dune. And I hope it's done well. Having a kind of an overview of what the story was, or specifically back in the day, the older story, I think helped me understand it a little bit more. And it is a little bit slow paced in places, but I still thought it was really, really good. And and it completes the story. So if it's anything, if the care and patience and the actors are just as good as they are in the first one, this one, I can't see it not being a massive hit, which I'm glad for everybody involved. So that's my number 2, and my final one of my top 8 film spec is 65. So this is a bit of a one that came out of left field, I think, early on. Didn't even know this film existed until recently. The trailer dropped. Adam Driver, he's in space. There's a crash between an asteroid or something in space, and he crash lands on a planet. He has several pods that are released out. He finds one, and then there's something on this planet that he has to be aware of, and it's very, very familiar, or very, very revealed quite early in that it's dinosaurs. He's 65, it's 65 million years. How the future has got to the past, I don't know, if it's like Transformers or whatever. Reminds me very much of a early, I think, 2000s movie called Outlander with Jim Caviezel. I was a bit more space related and a space monster and going back into Vikings, but I feel this is kind of maybe got the same rough outline to it. But yeah, Adam Driver, I'm not surprised I warmed to him as much as I did. I mean, he was a little whiny as Kylo Ren. He's been in a few other bits that have been hit and miss to me, but I don't think he did a bad job in Star Wars. I just feel there was a lot of other factors involved, and I'm him to take kind of front and centre and lead this film because it's him and then a young girl that he finds. So with obviously CG dinosaurs, they're going to be the pulling force for this, and But I really look forward to it. And again, as you notice on my list, apart from some of the kind of similar films like the Turtles films or like another CG computer game character or even the odd Transformer one, I like the odd bit movies that are out there and stuff like this, and you'll probably notice it as this channel goes along. I pick out a lot more and stuff, but yeah, it's definitely my top pick so far. I know there's a lot more films to come out and a lot more recently. So yeah, that's my list. Hope you enjoyed. If there's any more that you thought about, think in line. We'll add a little note on this. I'm sure there's a lot of people maybe screaming at the screen going, oh, like there's Mission Impossible, there's John Wick and stuff. And to be honest, as I said, I know Transformers is like the 7th, I think it's the 7th film in line, but obviously it's a little bit of a fresh look, and it kind of links to something that I'm very passionate about as a child and watched as a child, Beast Wars. So, and it's not really been, the animal side hasn't really been done. I know they had like Scorponok and that, and that's why I like that. John Wick, I really liked 1, I really liked 3, wasn't a big fan of 2. It's just a bit the same. It's like the same thing again, like how many times can we rinse this? And you get like Fast and Furious, like how many times can you rinse this? Mission Impossible, what is it, like number 7? Like, the title alone surely is Mission Improbable. Or Mission Maybe Unlikely unless Ethan Hunt's involved. Like, it's Mission Impossible, but he does them all the time. And yeah, there's that, and even as it's split into a part 1, I kind of feel like going to a movie sometimes when it's a part 1 and you're going to come out with questions and you've got to wait for a part 2, and that's when you actively know it because it states part 1. Yeah, sometimes I maybe just want the answer a little bit too soon, but that's it. That is what it is, and say that's just the reason why those movies aren't in there. I will end up going watch all of them, and I may even really, really like them, and I may be eating my hat, so to speak. Hope you really like this video. If you do, please like and subscribe to this video. Please add in the comments if there's films I've missed out or films you feel I should see or was interested. This is Cypher Sigma, sign off. Have a good day.